Kartenring in Austria hosts round 6 of the World Championship, and the number 7 Pitbull sticker on the front of Stefan Evert's Yamaha pays tribute to the great German rider, rival and friend of Evert's, whose career was ended by that awful crash in Bulgaria. Stefan Evert's, third in the championship, fastest in qualifying, and winner once again of the 125cc Grand Prix here in Austria prior to this Motocross Grand Prix race. Mikhail Pichon beginning to feel the pressure, the Frenchman on the factory Suzuki, just 3 points clear now of Joel Smets, who was behind him in qualifying, and ahead of Johnny Aubert, Brian Jorgensen and the returning Gordon Crockard. Number 20, Andrew McFarlane, right on the outside of the starting line as they head into the fast downhill left-hander. Pichon's there, but it's Federici. Another lightning start from him. Jorgensen in third place on the Martin Honda. Storming through those dusty first turns, and Pichon a great start. Federici an even greater one. Jorgensen third, but Everts is in there as well. And 2 parallel lines for the riders to choose down the straightaway here out of that turn. Fabulous action in this flat field in Austria. Oh, Mikhail Pichon snorts his way to the front, just across the front wheel of Federici, leaves him absolutely nowhere to go. He hits the front, Stefan Everts bulldozes his way inside Brian Jorgensen. And Joel Smets has a really terrible start, a load of work to do downfield here. The race could be between Everts now into second place and Pichon ahead of him. Jorgensen already pushed back to third. At the front, Pichon trying to make his escape on the Suzuki. Everts shadowing him ahead of Jorgensen. Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda at the front. Some of the stadium-style obstacles will be well suited to both Jorgensen and race leader Mikhail Pichon. Beautiful weather, big crowd. Magic Motocross Grand Prix action. And number 78, Yoshi Atsuta has made a terrific start on the Cass Honda. Atsuta in 4th place. The 25-year-old former Japanese champion. He'd won that Japanese championship in 2001 before he came over to race in Europe to fulfill his Grand Prix racing dream. He's ahead of the veteran Frenchman Thierry Bettis, Marc Ristori of Switzerland, Chris Burnham, another great start for him ahead of Marnik Prevost, and in 9th place the second Cass Honda of Gordon Crockard, Christophe Martin, Andrew McFarlane and Jamie Dobb rounding out the top 12 ahead of Johnny Aubert and Claudio Federici, who made an early mistake after that brilliant start and is back down in 14th place. Oops-a-daisy. That's not quite the direction you want to be pointed in. And that's Marko Kovalainen on the MJ Church Kawasaki, making a meal of things in the early stages. Mikhail Pichon almost burying the front wheel of the Suzuki in that berm, and here's someone who's buried more than his front wheel. And I think it might be Christian Burnham who's buried his Honda comprehensively through the fence and put himself out of that very, very promising early position. Pichon versus Stefan Everts. This time though, Pichon is the hunted and Everts the hunter. Somehow the balance of the World Motocross Championship has changed. 30 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and Joel Smets is down. Smets, already suffering after a bad start, has lost his way in the dust and has a huge amount to do to get back into the points. Smets restarts. At the front, clear of the dust, Stefan Everts only has the roost of the Suzuki ahead of him. 12 months earlier here at the Kartenring, Michael Pichon won the 250cc Motocross Grand Prix of Austria. Stefan Everts won the Open Class Grand Prix of Austria. One of them has to give way here today. Everts has already won his 58th Grand Prix victory in the 125cc race prior to this one. He's now looking for his 59th victory. Joel Smets gets into the points, 20th place for a wild-riding 34-year-old Flemish lion. And he's going to have such a torrid race from back there as he tries to eat up places mid-pack. Michael Pichon still holds on ahead of Stefan Everts here in Austria though. Everts inching ever closer. Motor straight across the bows of the Suzuki. Can Pichon retaliate? He can! Swoops round the outside of the Yamaha. No quarter being asked or given between these two outstanding riders here. Everts made his move and found himself eclipsed. He's got to do it again. He knows where Pichon likes to be. That's the advantage of being behind. You can see the other guy's lines. Nonetheless, he's chosen to follow Pichon's wide line round the left-hander rather than cut in on the alternative left-hand route. Pichon proving that he's alive, fighting and kicking. He's responded, and he's responded well. Stefan Everts will have to find some other way to get past him. A gripping duel has the Austrian fans absolutely nailed to the trackside here. They've seen some wonderful racing in their time at those classic motocross circuits at Sittendorf and Schwannenstadt. And here at the Kartenring, they're seeing one of the best. Frank Schroyen, Michael Pichon's lady, who always seems to have double-jointed fingers wrapped up and crossed several times over, watching the action. Can you actually enjoy watching this? We can. They don't look as if they do. Oh, Stefan Everts gets an absolutely blinding run across the whoops. Nearly picks up underneath Pichon. And Stefan, determined to get through this time, gets a fantastic drive off the berm that just catapults him underneath the Suzuki. Everts hits the front. An excited instant response from the L&M Rinaldi Yamaha camp. Good job, they say. Good job. Ouch! European 125cc Supercross champion Antoine Mayo has decked his Kawasaki in one of the fast right-handers. This is how he did it. Loses the front end, classic low side, face plants into the dirt. Not a pleasant experience for the young Frenchman. Meanwhile, the fight for third place, with Gordon Crockard moving menacingly through the pack and trying to steal a march on Brian Jorgensen. Great ride from Crockstar, returning at least 80% fit, feeling a bit more like his old self, putting the pressure on for third place. Crockstar likes this track. He finished a close second to Michael Pichon here 12 months ago. One of his finest rides on the factory KTM. Oh, and he scythes underneath Jorgensen. That's the way to do it, isn't it? After all the obstacles that Brian had managed to put in Gordon's way a couple of races ago, there was absolutely no problem for him then. Straight through. Crockstar then. Honda's third and fourth. Gordon Crockard looking as if he might get onto the podium once again in Austria. And Yoshihide Tsuta, a brilliant fifth place for the former Japanese champion on the second of Harry Ainsworth's Cass Hondas. The lively, likeable 25-year-old Japanese rider could be headed for his best ever Grand Prix finish. Stefan Everts at the front, absolutely roosting our camera and also roosting Michael Pichon, who's staying very, very close and storms to the front again with just under 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Pichon back at the front, but Everts is on him and he knows it. Everts comes back, not quite. Pichon at Everts AO. We can hear the Austrian commentator giving it large here, but the riders on track are presenting him with a dazzling performance. Oh, and this time Everts brutally dispatches Michael Pichon clean over the berm. and takes control of the race. Well, should a red card be shown? Decide for yourself. I'm going to block past you, mate. You're going to be my berm. Mikael Pichon left with nowhere to go. Can he respond? Less than 10 minutes plus 2 laps to do it. Schorin, outwardly calm. Brian Jorgensen in 4th place at the same place. Now pretty much on his own, ahead of the 5th place Yoshi Atsuta. Joel Smets, however, still clambering back through the field from 20th to 7th. The KTM is still on the move. A colossal ride from a colossal rider. The Pichon camp once again looking anxious, looking excited, looking eager. Well, I don't know about eager. They're certainly anticipating something happening because Pichon is once again getting closer. In fact, Pichon is finding his fastest laps right at the close of the race, coming right onto the back wheel of the Yamaha. A dramatic climax here in Austria, round 6 of the World Motocross Championship. Pichon proving himself to be an absolute tiger. Relentless in his pursuit of Stefan Everts. Everts loses it a bit, goes wide. 2 laps to go. Frank Schroyen urges on Mikael Pichon in pursuit of Stefan Everts. Everts already a 125cc Grand Prix winner here in Austria earlier in the day. Trying to make it win number 2. Pichon tried to prevent it. Penultimate lap of a fascinating Grand Prix. One of the all-time great duels. The crowd, each with their favourite rider, hanging out over the fence, urging them on. Pichon still goes for the wide line. I don't know what's wrong with that inside line there, but it's certainly not been used by most of the riders. Half a minute clear of Gordon Crockard in 3rd place. The battle for supremacy. Each man winning here in their respective class last year. Gordon Crockard, 2nd here in the 250 GPs last year, heading for a resounding 3rd place here. And a well-deserved one at that. Beginning to look like his old self. Applause for Pichon, but he's not getting any closer into the last lap now. He's running out of time. Finally, he tries that inside line. Will it help? He's got to try something. It's desperation time. He needs to get back in touch. He needs to get himself into a position to attack the Yamaha. Oh, Stefan has a nasty moment there, and that gives Pichon just a glimmer of opportunity. Everts, 30 years old. Mikael Pichon, 27. Belgium versus France, 2 of the great motocrossing nations. Pichon is absolutely rocketing round this track. He's getting faster and faster as the race goes on. This is looking like his fastest lap yet, and it's the last one. Is it going to be quick enough? Everts holding his lines, resisting the pressure. Pichon lofting that front wheel brilliantly through the whoops. Absolutely slaughtering the gap between them. What an amazing last lap by Mikael Pichon. He almost manages to take Everts out as they go through the last turn and across the line. Everts just hangs on. Stefan Everts wins the Austrian Motocross Grand Prix. Mikael Pichon 2nd. And that has been a great race. These bitter rivals congratulate one another on one of the great races in the history of this sport. Stefan Everts wins it. His dad, Harry, 4 times a world champion himself, grabs his kid by the throat and says, well done, sunshine. Everts wins it. Pichon 2nd. Crockard a very fine 3rd. And a brilliant 5th place for the recovering Joel Smets. And in the Riders' Championship, the gap has crept down to 8 points between Pichon and Everts as he snatches 2nd place from Joel Smets.